What's up everyone, how's it going? Welcome to today's trade recap and market analysis video. Today is Wednesday, December 3rd, and we took one trade today and missed out on a potential other trade as well. And yeah, that's basically a summary. Let's get straight into it. And this trade was actually very well executed. It showcases that there was a clear signal from what we analyzed that caused a drop straight into our take profit. And then after that, look at where the market just reversed all the way up. So pretty cool to see that we're able to predict that type of thing. And yeah, so let's just talk about our overall idea, right? Right now where we're sitting at, we've continued to chop around the overall range, the imbalance above and below range that we've been talking about. we're we've still been chopping around that area, and in fact, let me just do this. Let me mark out another volume profile just to showcase that what I'm trying to say. Oh, hold on, not that. Nah, what was I trying to? Aha, yeah, right here. So on a 4 hour. Let's extend this to the start of the week. There we go. This is what we had, right? We have this volume profile right here, and we've just started to push above this upper region, but in my opinion, more important than this upper region at this point would be this demand zone. Why? We've pushed above almost 3 times, 4 times, never broken above. Now we've finally broken above. Hopefully this can result in some acceleration to the upside, potentially tomorrow and Thursday. Again, we'll have to see, but that's just something a hypothesis. But main thing I wanted to point out was just that we are continuing to stay within that range, move between zone to zone. So that's where our edge comes from, right? Knowing that we move from zone to zone, we're still chopping between. If you didn't know that, who knows, we may have wanted to take longs down or shorts down here, right? Estimating it will break below, or longs up here, estimating that will break above. But we identified that consolidation. Now, prior to market open, there was actually some news that caused that big selling dump that you see on the market right here. This big selling dump. And I'm pretty sure it's something to do with Microsoft. So I'm getting that open right now. I'm trying to see if I can find it. Okay. Microsoft lowers AI software sales quotas. Because that was released, that Microsoft lowers AI software sales quotas, the Microsoft stock dumped. And let's search it up. MSFT. Yeah, take a look at this. Past 5 days we dropped 5%, but we don't even gotta worry too much about that. It's just this action, right? We fell approximately $15-20 on Microsoft, which is a pretty significant amount. And when such a big company in S&P 500 drops, the entire S&P 500 drops as well because of hedging protocols between it, which allows for market efficiency, allowing ES, S&P 500, SPY to all move in nearly the exact same manner. And in that sense, they're very, very, very correlated, as market meters are rewarded for ensuring that efficiency between them to an extent. Now, we saw this big selling come in, and of course you can take it as news to put it. This is bearish. Now, with the bearish activity, with these types of sudden imbalances, there's either two options. One, we retrace, continue falling down, or we fill in the imbalance, right? And of course, we can continue moving down. But we're in the zone right here. I would much rather prefer a retracement or a push up. And I mean, we did both. We did a retracement right there towards the downside, and we pushed back up. So it's the best of both worlds, in my opinion. Now, with that being said, now it's just a matter of watching liquidity and order flow to see if there's any signal that can actually be leveraged to make decisive decisions in the market. So with that being said, let's get into this, right? Market opened right around here. We start pushing towards the upside, retrace down, take out this liquidity, start pushing up, and we start to get to VWAP. And VWAP was very, very significant for us today, right? Let's take a look at what's going on. CVD negative, right? Price is staying up while CVD is being negative, and particularly a sign of potential selling absorption down here, right at market open, which drove the price upwards. But now around the 6840 area, price is unable to break above. Or in other words, price cannot get above 6840. And what we see on the order flow, simply by looking at delta, is lots of buyers are getting absorbed here near the top. And you can see this with this delta as well. Right as we approach the 6840 level, or even the 6837.5 level, we have volume. We see high volume node, distributed volume node, right? We see that buyers are trying to step in, but they are unable to. We see by these bubbles as well. They're unable to push above. Typically, when they're so close, right? We just break through these pretty easily. But in this case, we're unable to get close. We're near VWAP, and there's distributed constant buying absorption happening. Now, what do we know about VWAP? What we know is that VWAP is a big area where lots of institutions place their dark pool orders. Or in another sense, why might institutions place their dark pool orders at VWAP? Well, simply because there's a lot of volume and there's a lot of volume and transactions occurring at that area that allows their orders to get filled without that big of a market impact. The market impact happens when they enter, absorbing the price movement towards the upside, causing price to be unable to move upwards more. And potentially could have been what happened here. Right, so we see all this buying absorption occur, right? We take out this 37.5 level. Again, buyers get absorbed. We start seeing selling pop in. Now, in my opinion, when I look at this, I can see this clear buying absorption. Buyers are weak at this level. Now, if I want to enter short, I need something to defend me or to defend my stop. And we see the 6835 liquidity get pushed below, showcasing seller urgency and providing a perfect placement for my stop to be. And even more than that, look how perfectly it aligns with this buying delta. This passive liquidity right here, it's essentially a barrier. It's essentially supporting that buyer absorption for potential more buyer absorption to happen in the future. And even more, we're getting seller icebergs as well. All signs that price may want to head lower to our next key significant area of liquidity, 6820. And we find our entry right around here, actually, 6829, so literally $1 below this. We see liquidity up here, and simply enter something like that. And our OG stop is, as expected, 2 ticks above the barrier to occur for that move. So as you see, we did move our stop to break even. And we simply did that because we went really close to 13 profit. I'm gonna be honest. Right, but right when we did that, just look how fast this move occurs, right? Big selling occurs and then boom, our take profit hit. This identification and the fact that these seller icebergs were coming in provided a clear signal the price may have wanted to drop. Now, this, of course, everything we do is under discretion, right? But if you think in a quantitative manner, what are the specific factors that stood as a signal for the downside? One, cumulative price absorption or participant absorption near a key level near VWAP. Then we see passive urgency. Then we see a retracement trying to attempt to get towards that passive urgency that gets failed, whether it be icebergs or even more seller urgency. That would be a signal to enter short until the next liquidity or significant liquidity that is 1.5 times typical standard, which in this case seems to be around 50 or even 40 perhaps, right? Times 40 is 120. So I want to see 120 for significance. 820 is 128. Perfect. And that was basically our first trade. I mean, nothing really more to say after that. Now, literally right after our first trade, we had news at 9. So we're sitting in the interval waiting for more price action to develop, more liquidity and order flow to develop. As you see, the order book started to clear up right at the news event. And what we saw was breaking that ISM PMI. The ISM PMI release got released at 9:02, and it got released towards the upside pretty significantly, and likely as a result, we started seeing price follow through. And we quickly dump after that, or essentially rebound to an extent. Now, if you look at the distribution of liquidity here, I'm not seeing any signal personally that would make me want to enter, right? We push up, we come back down, see big buyers, there are also big sellers, they get absorbed. And here at the bottom, we see a big seller. And this was where I thought I could have potentially gotten an entry, which would have been here. In hindsight, of course. Very big seller got in at this region. Just watching it right now because we saw this big seller enter, but next liquidity is still towards the downside, and we're still seeing that gradual. I wouldn't really say gradual like that, but this is what we see. Imagine there's no heat there. What we see is that there's liquidity below continuing to head lower downwards, potentially acting as a distributed magnet towards the downside. I would want to see if price either goes down, but nothing I would trade. But in this case, price headed upwards with strength. Now, once again here, pretty fluffed up liquidity. The 6835 region looks to be a good barrier, but this is cumulative passive selling right there. So perhaps if this was removed, we went here, retraced into here, saw seller absorption like this, and then started to reject that and head upwards, that would have made for a great long, but I don't really see anything. Oh wait, hold on. Oh, that 6835 order still there. I want to see how that works at the 920 candle. Yeah, if you look at the 920 candle, there's like no volume that occurred there, barely anything. It's not significant. I like to see proper constant selling absorption. Here we see seller urgency, but price is able to push through that. Now here we have big order following us up. Look at this buying urgency right there, right? You can see it following up. You can literally see it following up. You see that? Clear signal following up. Now here we see seller absorption or cumulative seller absorption around this region. So now my mindset has shifted towards the longs. Saw a really big buyer entering here. Yeah, the liquidity situation here is not the greatest, right? We're still seeing seller urgency, but buyer aggression. And then suddenly here, hold on. Okay, one thing you can notice here on the icebergs, right? Buying icebergs are literally at, buyer icebergs are very high. Let's keep it at that. If buyer icebergs are very high, it means there's lots of buyers attempting to hide their orders as they're going long. Not necessarily hide their orders, but lots of buying icebergs are preventing sellers from going down more. We see that here, it's like hidden, but you can see it. While on the sell side, you can see stuff here, but after that, really, there's realistically nothing, only these buy ones. But then again, spread liquidity is still unfavorable, but we just see this quick splurge of buying activity. And now we're at the 6850 relatively. So essentially from 9 to 9:30, I didn't see any signal. Watching here to see if there's anything. Not really seeing crazy. Oh yeah, regarding 4 too. Here's a higher time frame footprint, the 15-minute ES footprint. You can see that absorption a bit more clearly here. High volume, high volume, high volume. Top, big buying, big buying, big buying delta. Unable to push low. Just wanted to point that out while we're watching Bookmap. Big selling urgency coming in here, but it could be a spoof order, so watching. But again, liquidity conditions aren't as favorable. Lots of noise here. Oh, you see those buys coming. Still watching this. Yeah, not really seeing much. When did we want down this super? 940. Aha, it's here with the liquidity. The big seller that entered in here. I mean, 940 was when volume rapidly decreased, right? Let's take a look. We went from like 16 to 30K down to 12K. It's pretty minor for the recent days. Here, oh wow, here no signal. Liquidity is held there, or at least looks that way with sensitivities. It's right there. 955. All this is cool, but liquidity is still quite there. Fire icebergs are remaining to be there, but they're a bit less. Fire's coming up here. I'm not liking the sensitivity, right? Because if you take a look at 142 over here, it's only like a few less than this above one, but it's barely highlighted at all. And we start coming down. But at 6835, 6835. Yeah, I don't think we go down there all day. I mean, yeah, I didn't really see anything after that, I'm gonna be honest. But yeah, I mean, that's the end of the session. I mean, that's basically it for today's market analysis. Like, first trade saw cumulative continuous buying absorption. You can see it here as well. You can see this buying absorption right here. And then followed by sell-off when we had some protection from our stop being hit. And yeah, if you have any questions, feel free to join the complete free Discord server down below, the link in the description, or leave a comment down below as well. Also, if you want to take a look at the order flow tools and platforms which I use, check out the links in the description for those as well. I linked the Bookmap live stream and added to order flow charts, one of my channel partners, and both of them have a lot of free accessibility. As always, do your research. With that being said, I guess I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye.